Okay, excited for the challenge this week, going on the road against the Texans. We're looking forward to having a great week of practice, getting down there. You watch them on tape, a lot of things jump out. Number 31, their running back, I think is outstanding. He is a load to bring down. You see him running away from people, breaking tackles. He has speed out there. I think they have multiple receivers that are big play receivers, a tight end that's making plays for them in the pass game, big offensive tackles. So a unique challenge with our defense on the field. But in particular, I think their running back is outstanding. Defensively, it's a Lovie Smith-led defense, so that presents all sorts of different challenges. Obviously, cover two starts to show up, which you don't see a ton of week in and week out, so you got to be really, really precise in what you're doing. And then pressure, man pressure. On first and second down, they're doing a really nice job of being an aggressive front, line movement. So really a focal point for us in defending that scheme. And then special teams, they have a really, really good special teams unit, a bunch of guys that we know. They are outstanding, playing relentless on that side of the ball. So looking forward to going down there and looking forward to the challenge. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Since you've been the head coach, the quarterback is usually spoken on Wednesdays. Any reason that didn't happen today?
No, but that's not my department. That's PJB over there. You can ask him.
I know you're not a big vibe guy, but having Deshaun back with the ones today for the walkthrough so far, could you notice anything different in the energy, or just because that's a pretty big change?
I like the not a big vibe guy. Again, Deshaun's been here for 5 weeks, been around his teammates, been out of practice, been in walkthroughs. So I've said it to you guys before. You know this, but this is about us versus the Texans is really the focus.
This group of players, obviously there's probably going to be some backlash down in Houston when you guys go there, especially since Deshaun played there. How do you think this group is going to handle that? How do you think Deshaun is going to handle anything that rises up?
Yeah, again, Ashley, I think it goes back to control what you can control. And we have to have a great week of practice and be ready to play a great game on Sunday.
When you look back at the one time we saw him play in Jacksonville, we know what happened. It was one tragedy after another. Do you put any stock in his mental state on that day? It was a very stressful time for him.
No, I really don't, Tony. And I think a lot of that was just getting back in uniform, in the huddle, hearing my voice in the headset, those type of things. So that was all about the preparation. So, no, I don't put much stock in that.
You don't expect something like that to happen?
I don't. Yeah.
But do you anticipate any rust? It'll be 700 days between games.
Yeah, so I think it's a totally fair question, Jeff. I don't think I can predict that type of thing, but I know this. He's focusing on his work. You got really, in any endeavor, you got to focus on your preparation for Sunday. You can't really worry about Sunday until you worry about Wednesday.
Okay, so this is a quarterback with exceptional skills. We've all talked about that. As the play caller, do you have to resist the temptation to play with this new toy at the expense of your offensive?
No, I get the question, Tony. I think for me, for us as a team, for us as an offense, we really want to maximize the skills of all of our players. Obviously, with the change at quarterback, there, as you can imagine, there are certain things that we'll do differently. But ultimately, the goal is to go win. The goal is to play good offensive football. So there's not – I don't look at it in terms of resisting temptation. I just look at it in terms of trying to do what our guys do best.
On the ground and his ability in RPOs and stuff, how much do you expect that to maybe open up things for your running back room potentially?
Yeah, I really think it's wait and see. I think there's plenty of tape of Deshaun out there, so the Texans know what to prepare against, so to speak, but he hasn't played for us, so there's an element of we'll see.
Wyatt the other day said, if teams try to put 8 in the box, good luck. Would you expect to see less of that just with Deshaun's presence?
No, again, played good offense the first 11 weeks, so I expect that to be the same.
Well, let's put it this way. When you play teams that have quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, you haven't played them, but the threat to run, do you consider yourself having a 12th offensive player when that quarterback can run and make big plays?
I think we've seen going against some of the players this season, Tony, think about Josh Allen, Lamar. That's frustrating to a defensive coach when a quarterback can make plays. Jacoby's made plays with his feet. Just in this last game, made a bunch of plays with his feet. So that element of any offense, I think, is really can be really frustrating to a defense. That is part of Deshaun's game in this case. But Jacoby's made some plays as well this season.
Trade of this magnitude, obviously you guys felt Deshaun was a special player. So when you look at this offense, is the assumption not that this offense would take a leap forward, be more explosive with a guy like Deshaun Watson? Because isn't that why he's here?
One more time, Kimberly? I'm sorry.
Given the magnitude of this trade, correct, for Deshaun Watson, you guys must feel like he's a special player. So when you make the switch to quarterback, what is the expectation for this offense? Is it not to be more explosive, dynamic, or else why?
Yeah, well, I think for this football team, for Deshaun, for the offense in particular, to your question, they need to focus on playing good football this week. The big picture of what that means and that type of thing, I don't think our guys are worried about that. We got to worry about our preparation this week, make sure that we have a good plan for Houston. We're excited that Deshaun's able to play for us. I mean, we're excited that he's back out there. The guys have enjoyed having him, like we mentioned, back in the room the last few weeks. So I think having him out on the field will bring an element to our offense that is different. But how different, I think, remains to be seen.
You think, Kevin, that they'll take time to put everything, the suspension and all that, behind Deshaun, or can you guys just say, okay, football from here on out?
I think part of our job, Jeff, is that's what we have to do. I think when you're in this building, you control you can control. You are where your feet are. So for us right now, the focus is on Houston, and I think having a really good week of practice. I understand. I understand that there's more out there outside the building, but inside the building, we really have to focus on our jobs.
David isn't going to practice today. Is that the same knee thing that kept him out last week? Did he do anything?
No, it's a different injury. So we're just going to work through it and be smart.
Ruled him out for Sunday.
I have not ruled him out, no.
And Miles is not a pre-practice report, but how's his shoulder going into this week?
Yeah, we'll give him some rest today, but he's right where he's been. These guys, as you know, you just played in an overtime game on Sunday, so trying to be smart about what we do with the guys and make sure that they're fresh come Sunday.
Pierce, and you're preparing for that run that they have. How big is it to have players like Jeremiah and Sione Takitaki who have really stepped up and made big plays at times to continue that and maybe even give you more?
Yeah, it's a huge challenge, just period. He's a really good football player. They have good run schemes. And again, just turn on the tape, and he's running away from people. He's bouncing off of people. He's making people miss. So it's not one person's job when you're going against a rush attack like that. It's really an 11-person job and making sure that you're sound in all of your run fits, and then you really have to gang tackle this player. He's really good.
Smith's defense used to be the rage just, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Are there any other teams as predominant as them? Are they unique at this point?
They're playing the most cover 2 as anybody in the league. I'd have to think of who the near neighbors are of him. Coach Eberflus in Chicago, similar. But I'd have to look at, across the league. But it's a unique challenge, and it's a scheme that I've seen work at a really, really high level. It keeps you off balance when you can play cover 2 and keep everything in front of you. Then you can crawl up and play man. They bring a good amount of pressure, and with that pressure, and even sometimes without that pressure, they have really, really outstanding line movement. So you're seeing their 3 technique, their 6 technique, pirate. It presents a big challenge because you have to be able to block movement when you're playing against a Lovie Smith defense.
JOK, and he was saying he's trying to find the balance between kind of reading his run fits too fast and too slow. How do you think he's doing in that, and have you seen him get better in that area?
Yeah, I think he's working hard to get better. As you know, JOK plays with a unique speed, and when he sees it, he goes. And a lot of times it's a really, really good play, and he's making the right read. If it's not, he can put himself in a bad position because he goes so fast. So, he works very hard with Coach Tarv, Coach Bloom, making sure that his reads and his keys are true. And then ultimately, when you're playing linebacker in this system, any system really. Once you see it, you just got to go.